This topic I'm going to teach you is called man hours. Right, let's suppose it takes 3 workers 5 hours to complete a particular type of job. Right, it could be construction work, making a house, whatever. Now, how long will it take 2 workers? For 2 workers, how many hours will it take to complete the same job, exactly the same kind of work? But remember, it takes 3 workers 5 hours to complete that job, but this time we've got 2 workers, maybe 1 worker has fallen ill, so 2 workers to complete the same type of job. So this is what you do then. Take the 3, multiply by the 5, 3 workers multiplied by 5, that gives you 15 man hours. So 1 worker works 5 hours, another worker works 5 hours, the 3rd worker works 5 hours. What does that make altogether? That's 15 man hours. So if each worker was, let's say each worker is on £20 an hour, you'd have to pay them altogether 20 times 15 man hours. All right. Anyways, right, let's finish this off now. So it's 15 man hours to get the job done. That particular type of job. Now we've got 2 workers this time. This time we've got 2 workers, 1 missing, and we want to be able to complete the same type of job. How many hours will it take to get this particular job done? Now remember, this job takes 15 man hours. It's the same type of job. Remember, this is number of workers, hours. Workers, number of workers, hours. Clearly it's 15 divided, inverse operation, 15 divided by 2, it's 7.5 hours. So with 3 workers, each worker works 5 hours, gets a job done. Because we've got 1 less worker, we've only got 2 workers as opposed to 3. So it's going to take each worker longer because they're going to have to share the burden for the person that's not here. So obviously they have to work extra long, 7.5 hours as opposed to 5 hours to get the same job done. Okay, the one assumption that you can make about this, for this to be accurate, is that all workers work at the same rate. That's the assumption you make. Right, another example. 5 workers, it takes 5 workers 7 hours. 5 workers, 7 hours to make 200 locks. So that is the job, right? That there is the job. Then, how many hours will it take 3 workers to make 200 locks? And notice one thing, it's the same job. It's exactly the same job. And why? Because you've got the same amounts, 200 locks, 200 locks. So it's the same job, it's not a different job. If it was a different number, that would make it a lot more complicated. Right, let's start off with this. 5 workers multiplied by 7 hours. Right, it doesn't have to be hours, it could be days. So you could say man days or years, man years. All right. 5 workers, 7 hours each. So that's a total of 35 man hours. That's put into the work to get the job done. All right, to get this job done. Now this time we've got 3 workers. We don't know how many hours. Okay, we've got less workers. Obviously they're gonna have to work a lot harder now to compensate for the people who are not here to get the same job done. Remember, to get the job done, it takes 35 man hours. To get this job done, this type of job, it takes 35 man hours, right? So we've kept this number consistent, 35, we kept that constant the same. Now then, inverse operation, 35 divided by 3. Get 11.66 hours. Obviously that's 11 hours and a bit, just over 11 and a half hours. So if you really want to know what this is in hours and minutes, this is not 11 hours and 66 minutes. That's ridiculous. That's actually 11 hours. That bit's easy. We can easily extract the 11 hours. This one here, 0.66. 0.66. Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. All right, let's round that one. 40 minutes. That's your answer then. It takes 3 workers, 11 hours and 40 minutes. Or you can say 11.66 hours for 3 men. Each person has to work 11.66 hours. That's a lot. All right, remember, with 5 workers, you can get the job done if each worker works 7 hours. But with 3 workers, they're going to have to work extra hard to get the same job done. They work longer.